They just sit there. Is like, and I watched the market, like, all these houses that normally I would have been like, why is that still available? Or sitting, unless it's like a really great opportunity and not necessarily price wise, but just like the property itself is an opportunity.
Yes.
Then those ones move faster or certain price
Yes.
where you think, but it's like I'm in the price point of where it's either a first time buyer or it's somebody that's coming from like a condo that's now
Right.
looking to get into a house, right? And so
Right.
that market itself is quite slow because when you're dealing with first time buyers, they're not getting the financing that they're, hoping to be able to get to in order to get into this house. And then yeah, it's just one of those, and they're not rushed right now, right? So he's like, I'm not concerned because no one's in a rush, right? Everything's saying they know they have time. They're not having to like, book it ASAP, get in and get an offer right away. They know they have time. So,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, well, I'm okay with that. It's like I made my rule. I'm like, I'm that person. I'm like, give me 1 day notice. I need to know 1 day ahead
Yeah.
of
Just
any
yeah.
showings, just so I can like know, right? Because
Yes.
especially I've got
Yes.
three kids and a couple dogs, and like, so it's like I need to know ahead of time. I need to
Yeah.
know ahead of time.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
That's not bad though.
So
So
yeah,
it is. So it looks like
yep.
we're not having many people on today, which is interesting.
Well, that's what I said. It
But
was a slow, very slow kind of. I'm like, thought I had the wrong link. I'm like, what is happening right now?
right, right.
But it's that time of year, I suppose. Either people are getting busy, different. Everyone's in different markets, and some markets
Yeah,
are busier than others.
yeah, yeah.
And it's the time of year I find. I like, what's the weather there? Is it nice out? Like, I find as
I don't
soon as
even
the
know. Like
weather.
I feel like in this days weather is like it's cold in the morning with rain,
Mhm.
then it's sunny, then it hails in the evening. And it's just like
Yeah, can't make
I
up
have
his
no idea.
mind.
I have
Getting
no
all
idea.
the seasons in 1 day.
Right, right, right. So,
Yeah.
okay, so now a little bit more has come in, so that's great. So, good
Yeah.
morning to everyone. We have a little bit more of an intimate class today, which is better. So, I can answer more of your questions. I have some live dials that I can kind of go over today as well too, just to kind of go over a few things, and go from there. But before I get into that, how's everyone finding the leads? Like, are you guys newer to Agent Locator? How is everything going with everyone here?
You guys can use the chat, the Q&A. If you guys want to talk, you just raise your hand. We give you that ability to speak. Yeah, what are you guys finding in your markets or with your leads lately anyway? In the last
Right.
couple of weeks, or if you weren't
Yeah.
on in the last couple of weeks, you know,
Yeah.
find so far in 2024 or a
Yeah.
pattern. Um,
Yeah.
the more communication, but it's just not going anywhere. So people are willing to talk and have conversations. They're just not getting off the fence. They're just
Yeah.
watching.
Been having conversations of that, but it's more so, even if they're just watching right now, what's really important is that you're just keeping an eye out for what they're doing, just making sure that you're sending them listings that they do want to see, and then
Mm-hmm.
just follow up over time, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
remember, it takes 3 to 18 months for these leads to come to fruition. So you just got to be on them, not too hard, not too pressing, but just kind of making some calls and going from there,
Yeah.
So, uh,
It's all about building your future
the money's
pipelines, right? You want to be
yeah,
building those
exactly.
future pipelines. So you're always working, not, going through that roller coaster of busy, busy, nothing, busy, busy, nothing, busy, busy,
Yeah,
nothing, right? So if we're continuously
yeah,
working our leads and our all our pillars really are going to help keep that momentum pretty steady.
yeah, I agree. So yeah, so I mean, how's everyone else? Is anyone else having any luck, or is there any objections that you're getting? Just before I kind of play my calls. Because remember, I'm here for you guys, so if you need that support, I can help you out with that today.
Yeah. Are any of you guys encountering like the same kind of pushback? Whether it's, the objection that, what's kind of stopping people from making the next steps?
Right. No one wants to do anything today.
No. Quiet. It's a quiet day.
Right.
Like, what
Okay,
day is it?
I'm
It's
gonna
like
play.
Wednesday. What day? I'm like, what day is it? It's Wednesday.
I know, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just play one of my calls that I had earlier this
Sure.
week, just so we can get some people kind of thinking about some stuff. So I'm
Sure.
going to play some of that right now, and I will get that going. Can you guys hear the ring or no?
No, you gotta share your computer sound. It's not.
Hey,
Oh, now we
Georgina, how
can.
are you?
I am well.
That's good. It's actually just Nick Moretti giving you a shout. How you doing today?
Oh, okay. I'm not doing great, actually. I crashed my car on Sunday, and I'm sitting home trying to keep the headache
No,
gone.
no. Are you? I mean, are you okay?
Yeah, just a little bruised, but no
Yeah.
cuts, no airbags deployed. Just
Oh,
a stupid, annoying thing to do. And
yeah.
no
But
charges. No charges. It's just giving me a terrible headache, and the headache is just stricken.
no. I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, first of all, I'm glad that you're okay. Second, car problems are always tough, right?
So just going on because I know that
Mm-hmm.
people are not people are not being active today, but I'll just kind of go over how I feel about these calls. So right off the bat, she's telling me about an issue that she's going through. I'm not really talking about anything else. I'm really just making sure that she's okay, and I'm just kind of having more of a conversation personally before I start doing anything at all.
Like, I mean, with
Mm-hmm.
accidents and stuff like that. But the most important thing is obviously that you're okay, you're healthy, and you're alive and you're breathing.
No, I
So
looked at the name and thought, oh, that's the name I've dealt with this morning. I'm just, too many people have had to call. That's it.
I bet, I bet, I bet. Well, I'm glad that you're okay. Really, I just wanted to call and introduce myself. I mean, you've come onto my website on MorettiRealEstate.com, which I'm super thankful
Mm-hmm.
for. Just want to let you know that I totally understand that you're just in the information stage, and you're just kind of browsing just to see what's going on. This is more of like a customer service call, just to make sure that I'm setting you up properly on, homes that you may want to see, in that information stage. So I was just going to call
Right.
and just ask you a few questions just to set up your list because some people don't set it up properly, and I want to make sure that in that information stage that I'm sending you home for you to browse on and kind of go
Sure.
from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll tell you, first of all, it's not for me. It's
Okay.
for my son, daughter-in-law,
Okay.
and their two small children. Um,
Cool.
we sold our house that we've been in for 25 years on Beesby 7 years ago.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
we're up in Woodville now.
Okay.
The
How do
house
you like
we
it?
had was much. I would love it here. We're on one
Yeah.
acre, 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom bungalow. Our big
Nice.
house had 6 and 5 and 2 staircases, and when your kids grow up, you don't need that anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's a lot of house, right? Just for the two of you.
Yeah. The only child that hasn't bought a house is the oldest one, of course. And
Yeah.
he's just been offered that he can move into his mother-in-law's home, which is in Quaker Village somewhere. It's a beautiful place, and it
I know what you
saves
mean.
money.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at the same time. And the particular model I looked at, I have had friends live in, and I know it would suit the purpose, and that's why that's the first thing I looked at, just to see
Yeah.
what that size was going.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
totally
under $1 million.
understand. Yeah, I totally
It's
understand where
under
you're
$1
coming from.
million.
I know,
There aren't many
right?
houses that way anymore. No.
No,
Yeah.
especially like, I was just taking a look at your list. I see that it was more like detached like bungalows and stuff like that, which are great. But,
Right.
bungalows are always in demand and Uxbridge average price is about 1.1 to 1.2. So they
Right.
do get a little bit pricey even for a basic townhouse, let's call it. You know what I mean? Are
Yeah.
they only looking in those areas or would they consider other areas as well?
So asking questions, giving me a lot of valuable information.
Mhm.
So now what I'm trying to do is now I'm trying to think of how to send her a list that makes sense and things that she can kind of browse for her son, right? So that's kind of what's happening.
It's even tricky to be in Uxbridge, even though they met there. They both went to school there. She teaches separate school in Port Perry, I believe, and
Okay.
anyway, somewhere east. He actually works in Concord.
Okay, so he's in
But
Vaughan.
yes, but even when he lived with us in Uxbridge, he went that far. He doesn't
Okay.
mind driving. He hates driving. So
Okay.
we're telling him, take Uxbridge, be nice to her.
Yeah.
And your
Now,
mother-in-law is right there, and she's retired. So that's the
yeah,
area that we're looking.
right? Now, do you think that they would consider just north of that in Brock? Because Brock, there's some really good average price points. You can get a little bit more land, and you can also get like a, a bungalow for a less cost than Uxbridge because of the area.
They might, but the closeness to the mother is a big thing too.
How close do they want to be? Like almost
They're
like.
in the same town.
Okay,
Everybody,
okay.
everybody loves Raymond. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm Italian, so don't worry. I get that. I totally understand that
Okay.
analogy, so don't worry.
Well, my husband's Iranian, and that's
Okay,
where.
cool. Cool. So you know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
my daughter and her family, which is 4 kids and her husband, also lives in Oakwood. If
Okay,
you're
okay,
familiar
okay.
with Oakwood. So
Yeah.
she's a source of constant entertainment. Not babysitting so much as family gatherings. So
I know
that
what you mean.
general area. Brock is okay. It's not
Okay.
out of the question.
Okay. Yeah, and then are they only looking for bungalows, or would they consider 2 stories? Would they consider back splits, side splits?
They would consider 2-story stacks, but the townhome we're in now has 3 staircases up, and I often just don't go because I'm the one who hates staircases.
Yeah, for sure. And like honestly, I forget so many things on my end. So like sometimes I'll forget my phone's upstairs. I mean, I'll probably be, if I ever live in a 3-story house, I'll probably be in the best shape of my life. But I agree. It's a lot of stairs, right? I mean, it's still good to build wealth and all that stuff, or even keep it later on as an investment property if they choose to do so. But I know what you mean. So are they looking for basically like kind of anywhere between attached houses, semis, detaches, and stuff like that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I
Now,
think one of the key things is ownership, and they have never had even a rental that was freestanding. It was always a townhouse or duplex, whatever they're called.
okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. I remember buying my first house. It was really scary. I honestly only had 3 months left of, after you unload your bank account, I only had 3 months left. And I was telling my wife, who was a teacher, I just said, listen, Kate, my wife's name is Kate, right? I said, listen, Kate, we're going to get like air mattresses and like, air couches and stuff because we only have 3 months of mortgage payment. And after that, because everything works out at the end of the day, right? But it is nerve-wracking at the beginning, which is what I'm trying to get
Are you sure you have
at.
Italian parents? Because when we left our 6,000 square foot house, we couldn't find enough kids to give our furniture to.
No, see, my parents kept all their stuff. They didn't want to give me anything.
Well,
I took what I needed
moving
to,
it
but
was-
they were still using it.
Yeah. No, and we had all what I considered beautiful custom-made oak.
Right?
Even our house had like 8-inch oak floorboard, not floorboards, trim.
Okay.
Of course, someone came and painted everything white,
Oh, geez.
which is fine. I understand.
So I know that it's just like conversation, but this is how you build trust. She's now talking more about herself. We're making jokes. I'm comfortable with her. She's comfortable with me. So we're just kind of going there. And I think the most important thing is just defining, right? I'm always asking questions. I'm always trying to figure out exactly what they're looking for.
It no longer looks like a reproduction video. And they tried to sell it for 4 times what they paid us for it.
And that's
4
all that
years.
matters. That's all
4
that
years.
matters.
They can't move it. I don't care. It's not my problem. So I'm always amazed at real estate agents who can be so, what's the word, discretionary. They
Yeah, I
know
know
when
what
to
you
keep
mean.
their mouth shut and say, that's fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
exactly, right? Right?
Whatever you like. Yes.
Exactly. I mean, within reason, like you're saying, but I totally get where you're coming from, But that's hilarious. Honestly, Georgina, you're hilarious. You have a great personality.
I try.
Yeah, right? So just to go back, are they looking for only 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms minimum?
I think whatever, if they can get that at a decent price, that would be great.
Okay. Now, have they been
Every
pre-approved or?
rental they've had has that. So I'm assuming that's kind of their standard.
For sure. And honestly, I would agree with them, especially if they have a kid, they need space. I totally understand. Now, have they been pre-approved or have they just, they're just really looking in the information stage?
They've just started looking because they got this offer from the other grandmother to,
Yeah.
spend a year or so and save up instead of paying how much a month.
Rent, yeah, because it's so expensive
and then
now.
my daughter-in-law is on maternity leave till the end of the year. So
Okay,
they're not looking right now. Although
for
I'm
sure.
sure if
For
something
sure.
could be done, something could be done.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, for sure. And Georgina, like it's, usually when you don't like whenever you're thinking about purchasing real estate, you don't just wake up the next day and purchase it, right? Like it takes usually 3 to 18 months. There's a lot of
Yeah.
moving parts that have to line up to make sure it's seamless and it works out because it has to be a win-win, right, for you guys. So I get that. Now, do you think I can send you between, let's call it 600 to about 1.1? Doesn't mean you have to go out that far, but at least this way you have a good range of homes that I think would be, in that range there. And then, we are in the spring market, so we are getting more and more inventory daily right now. And as we come to the
Right.
summer market, there will be more inventory, which which means more competition and brings price down a little bit, right? So at least there you can start seeing and understanding the trends a little bit more, just to see what's going on until they're trying to, get pre-approved, make sure everything works for them and kind of goes from there, So I'll update to that if that's okay with you. And then I don't
Yep,
know,
no,
once
that's
you
fine.
chat, and then once you chat with them, if they're open for me sending them the list, I can also just, if you want to give me their email after you chat with them, then I can add them to the list so they can see exactly what you're seeing. And then, maybe in the future, in the near future, I can have a conversation with them and introduce myself.
Okay. And by the way, I'm at this point more familiar than I want to be with the real estate market. When I was in the car accident, I was coming home from my cousin's home in Peterborough. I did not know she'd given me power of attorney. She was a hoarder, and she has Alzheimer's. Her home is a disaster. We're trying to get it. We have a real estate agent waiting for it. And my daughter's saying, I'll let this done until the summer. I said, I don't care to pay. We must forget.
Yeah. I know what you.
Somewhat up to what has happened. That Peterborough is not up Uxbridge. But,
Yeah, no, sure. Sounds like you're a real estate agent. I thought I was talking to a real estate agent. I'm just kidding. Because you know your stuff. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Do keep me in touch.
Yeah, no worries. And hey, also, Georgina, if you ever need an opinion or anything on that Peterborough house, I do service that area too. So whenever you have a moment, you have it declared or, decluttered, and I mean, you're going through a lot, so I totally understand. But whenever that opportunity does happen, I mean, I can definitely come by, give you opinion. I do leave a booklet and stuff with you, so you can go over the stats as well. I'm very familiar with that market because I do have listings and purchases in that area too, so I can definitely help you. But in the meantime, I do have a really good tool called the Nosy Neighbor tool, which, I mean, we are all nosy neighbors, So if you're interested in that, I can set you up on that Peterborough place for now, just while you're trying to figure things out. But all I just need is an address, and I can send it to you weekly or monthly, whichever you prefer.
The address in Peterborough you're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 166 Bowen, Bowen.
Okay. And then would you want that monthly or would you want that weekly? And I'll be sending you any new listings that come up and any recent solds.
Okay. Weekly, probably good. I want to move it along.
Okay, no problem. So and we can go from there, check in. But if you ever need anything at all, Georgina, I'm always here for you. And I'm glad you are okay from your car accident. I know you're probably shaken up, but, if you need anything, I'm always here to help you. And I'm always here. So just let me know if you need anything at all. And, I hope you get your car back on the road sooner than later. And, I hope everything goes well.
Thank you. Have a good day.
No problem. Georgina, thanks for not hanging up on me. I appreciate you.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
So great call. A lot of good things. So, what's really important, and I know I keep saying over and over again, but what's really important is making sure that you have a script. that you have while you're doing this, because if you don't know what you're going to say next, you're going to miss opportunities, right? So great opportunity there. Talk to her, built relationship. As you can hear, she has a property that she needs to get rid of in Peterborough. So instead of being like, a super annoying agent and just, kind of showcasing the opportunity there, I kind of came from contribution and said, hey, you know what? I understand. I know the area very well. Let me set up on the Nosy Neighbor, which is a huge tool that you guys should be using anyways when someone says that they have a property that they're thinking of selling. The reason being is because, if you set them up weekly, daily, or monthly, the thing is they're gonna consistently see your name. So if you're following up appropriately with that lead and these things keep coming up, like you're keeping them up to date. So when properties come up, and they're now thinking about doing, some sort of movement, they are going to start thinking about you, right? Because you're the only one that's keeping in touch. So that's why it's pretty good. The Nosy Neighbor is just like a tool, like I said, that you can put buy new listings, buy sold, or both, daily, weekly, or monthly, and it's a really great tool to help other people or your prospects to really understand the area a little bit more, and it's a great way to be top of mind, right? We have to
Yeah.
start doing more automatically rather than doing it manual, because manual we're not always living on MLS 24/7. We're going to miss opportunities, and I think it's really important to just have automated things just going out and going from there, so that's kind of
Yeah. You
basically
see
it.
and then you see
Any
their
aha.
activity on those listings too, right? So
Right.
when they're on the Nosy Neighbor, if you have them, even though they're what have you, you can
Yes.
see if they're like really start picking up their list, their viewing behaviors on those listings that they're receiving in their neighborhood.
Yeah. Any aha moments from that call? Anything at all? And if you're here, you kind of, I'm hoping you want to adopt something that I'm doing in order to get more traction from your leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually
But
getting a
I noticed,
1.9 hitter lead from last year.
oh,
So,
nice.
like
Yeah.
it works, right, guys? Like,
It does. It's just the patience. And what I liked about that is, and what most people would do when I look at a system, they don't, as soon as they hear that somebody is buying or looking on behalf of somebody else, they almost instantly disregard that lead because of past experiences of people that are looking for somebody else, right? Without actually fully building that relationship. Sounds like she has a good pull with the family, and also, what may potentially happen. And that's often sometimes the case when the parents are looking for their kids, they could have some sort of monetary interest in that purchase. Especially nowadays, right? So where you're seeing a lot of parents pulling equity out of their houses to help their kids with down payments to buy houses. Of course, she's going to have a say, potentially, of maybe who they use. I really like this guy. I feel confident with this guy or girl. And so I would never disregard somebody that may be looking for somebody else, because again, even if you don't gain that deal, that purchase through her kids or her son, you're now building relationship with her, and she's going to move one day. She may need to offload some additional properties, and you may get more referrals from her, right? So it's never taking somebody and just looking at them and being like, this person isn't the opportunity directly, and just disregarding them, because there's so many potential opportunities that come with them in many cases.
right, right. And it's true, to be honest with you. And also too, like, you're practicing, right? Like, even if you're talking to someone, you're having good not banter, but good conversations between each other. I think that it's really great that you use these opportunities to practice. And like, now that you're comfortable, you kind of figure out how to keep going in that conversation. And this is the thing, parents always have pull. Not all the time, but they do. I think a really good opportunity for anyone that doesn't have a script and they're kind of confused, or don't know what to say in the moment, is just get a sticky note and write questions that that you want to answer in every call, and then stick it on your computer, so that when you're calling people, it's literally right in front of you, and you have 5 questions you want to ask. That kind of stuff really helps me, especially when I was in the beginning, until you internalize your script, and then it's just pretty easy at the point. Now it's just like
Mm-hmm.
it's just a calling game and trying to get as many people as possible. But I would
Mm-hmm.
love to hear any aha moments from my call that, anyone wants to pick up or adopt into their next call, or, is there, a scenario that you need help with or anything like that? Because remember, I'm here for you guys. I already know what I'm doing on my end. Like, you guys just being quiet doesn't really do anything, right? Like, I can go over all the stuff that I'm going for, but you don't want to be those agents that, go to every seminar and then not use anything and then just wasting their time all day, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you have someone that's doing a lot of business, top 100 in the area, in Durham region, top 20 in Canada, out of Keller Williams. So, if you have questions, this is why you guys came here for. So, ask away. I wish I had the opportunity when I was back started, right?
So things we never knew we didn't know. Oh,
Here for everyone. So if you guys
yeah.
are just being quiet, I don't know what else I can help you out with, because I can sit here and talk all day, but if it's not really resonating with anyone, I don't know where to start with.
Mm-hmm.
What's number one to start with lead gen? So I think number one that you need to start off with, Barinder, is mindset. Mindset and good vibes, and just kind of decompressing from whatever your day is currently before you get on these calls, and just take that debrief of 5-10 minutes and just, get your energies level where it needs to go. Have a coffee, have a tea, do some push-ups, do some squats, do whatever you need to get that energy up, and then start making your calls. So before you do that is getting your energy up, and before you start making these calls, have an idea of what questions you want to ask, because there's nothing more than just, hey, calling a lead saying, hey, how are you? It's Nick calling, thanks for coming to the website, how are you finding things? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you have to know what questions you need to ask more people involved and kind of ready to talk to you, right? That's the most important part, I find. And if you're not scripted and you don't have kind of a session way where you're going to be calling, or a script, at least for the first, three moments, then I think that you really need to sit down and really write a script. And the script could be very easy. It could just be like, hey, thanks for coming onto our website. Just want to let you know I'm a real person. My job is to make sure you have a great user experience. And I want to make sure that I'm connecting you to the properties you want to see. Very easy icebreaker, very, straightforward introduction. And then you start asking questions. Remember, you can see what they're looking at. So, hey, I see you're looking at homes in Oshawa. Are you only considering Oshawas? Would you consider other areas? Get them to start talking. Don't say yes
Mm-hmm.
or no questions. You want to have open-ended questions where you can pull some more information and see if you can fit it all together. These leads here are more so like a puzzle, right? Every puzzle is going to be different. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out what needs and wants are, what property they're looking at, what timeline they're looking at, and kind of facilitate and showcase more, because they're going to reach out if you do your stuff right.
Yep. You will.
You know. So I follow up with these leads. Like, once I set them up, I'm pretty much like, if I know that they're purchasing soon or they're more interested, I'll follow up every, maybe once every week, maybe once, twice every week, depending on how far. I don't want to be one of those people where, I start being annoying. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Annoying taste, then they're not going to do anything with you, right? No matter what you're doing. So that's what I would do. And let's say you had a good conversation with someone, I would maybe check in for a week. Like, what I'll do is, like, for example, one of these good calls, I'll follow up in the next coming days, just be like, hey, just set you, I just, as you know, I updated your list. How is that list going? Is there anything else that you want me to alter or change or do anything? If they say no, it's good, then I just keep them on a search for that, and then follow up weekly or every bi-weekly. Just because, you've already established that, hey, if you have any questions, I'm here for you. Obviously, real estate's also about timing, but it's just trying to find that certain time. If you find that that lead is on more often, then yeah, touch base with them a little bit more. Doesn't have to be a phone call. It could be just a quick email, quick text message, something that is, non-aggressive, of just making sure you're coming from the contribution end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
about
it
open
doesn't
house
have to be
leads?
this
So
like
is it
huge.
the same for open house leads? If you have an open house and you generate a lead from open house, good conversation with them. You know, what is your habit from an open house lead as to when you follow up with them the next time? Is it the
Yeah.
next day or a couple days? To have,
So
to further
yeah,
that conversation really is what you're doing, right?
yeah. So usually after the open house, if it's a lead, I'll send them a message just saying thank you so much. If it's a Saturday, I might go and send them some opportunities on Sunday that are other open houses that are in the area, just so they can go. I can meet them with them, but I'm just they're in the information stage usually, right? So you don't want to be super aggressive, and just because you're sending them to another open house doesn't mean that that other obviously that other person who's doing the open house, sure, may get them or may not. But remember, you're coming from contribution, you're sending them there so that they can keep an eye out on what's happening. And some people need to go do things for themselves. So,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, like let's say this is a Saturday, if they're open, if it was a good conversation, what I'd be doing is sending them a message right after saying, hey, thanks so much for coming through the open house. Set them up on a search, let them know like, hey, I see some other opportunities. If you're open to it, I'd be more than happy to take a quick tour with you guys, and set these up over there so you guys can see these other properties are a good match. If they're not biting on that, just I think what you should do is before the week, so let's say Thursday or Friday, I would touch base with them and I would say, hey, here's some really great opportunities in open houses. I'd be more than happy to book a private tour so it's a little bit more intimate. Well, you don't have to say it like that, but it's a little bit more less traffic so you can actually take your time and go through the house without getting bombarded with questions. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's just fact finding, right? Like it's just more so of, you know, finding out what they're looking for. If you've asked them really good questions during that open house, so let's say if they're looking for more open concept, in a certain price with a certain style, and you're sending that to them as it's coming out, like you're showing them value. I think at the end of the day, it's just showing them as much value as possible. And then at the end of the day, they're going to pick to work with you or not.
Mm-hmm.
It really just depends, right? If I know that they're shopping around with other agents, yeah, sure, I'll do a buyer's rep, but I don't really lock people in unless I know that they're looking with other agents. Because remember, if someone's in the information stage and they're communicating with you back and forth, and they're talking to you pretty quickly and they're responding to your messages as much as possible, like that's kind of indirectly saying that you're working with another. And I feel that depending on the client, depending on who you are, if you're having conversations with someone and they know that they're reaching out to you whenever a property is coming through, I mean, if you're now like, hey, yeah, okay, great. And before we go, I need you to sign this paper to say that you're working with me. I feel like it kind of is detrimental, because I feel like you're not trusting them. And this business is based off trust. So, I mean, it really just depends on how you set up your business, to be honest with you. In my opinion, if I'm talking to one of these leads and I know that there's not any competition, I'm not getting them to sign a buyer's rep just because like they're indirectly telling me they're working with me, right? So I don't want to do anything that's going to rock that boat. And if they're telling me to show properties, like, and every time that a new property is coming out, they're asking me questions about it. I mean, like they're basically saying like they're working with you. So that's what I do. So
Okay.
yeah, so it really just depends. Honestly, I don't know if past girlfriends will help you because they probably are your ex for a reason.
Oh, you
So I'm
never
not
know. They
too
might
sure.
try to, they might help because
But
they want to get them out, find them something.
right, right, exactly. So I find that, I feel like the best source of leads is referrals, right? At the end of the day. But how do you build referrals? Referrals only come from once you are prospecting, you're doing great things, and then they're passing your information on because they've had such a great experience. Those are the best referrals are, right? But when it comes to lead generation, there's no best way. You have to pick your poison and just work with it. And what I would do is I would pick something that, like for myself, I built my business on online leads. So my goal is to make sure that this pillar is basically almost running autonomously and automatically, where I don't have to do so much of the manual phone calls and things are just coming in. And now I'm just kind of facilitating them. Once you have a lead gen locked down in a super great way that you know that you're getting X amount of leads, and then out of the X amount of leads, you're getting X amount of deals out of it, then either spend more money on that, or now you have one pillar, now start working on your second pillar. And that's really it. Like, I think the hardest part about this business is it's more mental than anything. I feel that some days I'm ready to go, and then there's some days where I don't want to do anything. I don't really want to talk to anyone. My energy is low. Like, I'm only human as well too. That happens to me. But I think it's what you do in those moments that really help define your career. For example, like, today I'm not really feeling it, but I'm here. I'm going to be doing my calls. And usually when I have these type of days and I'm doing my calls, I usually hit a lot of gold. My best analogy is whenever you're whenever you're having a really great day and you're lead genning and everything is working, I try to lead gen a little bit more and do a little bit more work. Days that I don't feel like doing anything, I do a couple hours and then I call it a day. Because at the end of the day, on the days that you need to take off, you don't have to feel bad that you're not doing anything because you're already ahead. Because on the good days, you took a little bit more extra times. On the days you didn't want to show up, you did a little bit of time, and all that keeps adding up, right? So I feel like this in real estate is hard, just because you feel that you can be talking to so many people, and you feel that you're just hitting your head against the wall. But I feel that as long as you're leading from contribution and you're sending people the right list, and you're sending people what they want, your job is done, right? Everything in real estate is about timing. These leads are out 3 to 18 months. There's been times where, weeks go by and I'm having great conversations, nothing's happening. And then the next coming weeks after that, week 4, 5, and 6, everyone starts coming out of the woodworks. I also feel like with Canada, there's a lot of, things are going on, like especially with people talking about the new tax hike with the capital gains. So basically, I think they're implementing that in June 25th. Which is super annoying. So anyone who is an investor, maybe this is a good time to hit them up and let them know to let go of their property prior to the new rules coming in. So what this new rule is anyone that has, an extra property, so not their principal residence, but their extra property, like investment property or a rental. Generally, if you sold right now, it doesn't matter how much profits you made, 50% of that will go to tax, right? Like you can have some write-offs off it. But so for example, if you sold something for, you bought something at 100K, you rented it out and now it's worth 200K, now 50% of that is tax, which is annoying. So fine. But now what they're implementing is anyone that has an investment property that makes over 250K profit, now they want 66%. So I feel like this is going to be a really big problem in the future, because who's going to pick up rentals? And how are people going to facilitate the rental market? What's going to happen? Are there going to be rental prices even more now? Are there going to be prices coming down because there's more inventory? Are there going to be just inventory available, but prices are still going to be high and people are not going to be affording them? Like, there's so many crazy stuff that can happen, and it's really interesting to see what the market does. I'm finding that, people that I'm talking to, a lot of people are leaving Canada right now, unfortunately. Like, they just don't want to be here, just because you're getting taxed so high in every level. You're getting taxed really high on things that you buy. You're taxing, your income high. You're taxing investment properties high. It's just like, what's happening, right? So
you can't do
I
anything
feel
to
like,
get ahead without getting taxed on it.
no,
Like there's
no.
there's nothing.
So that's the problem now. So I feel like this is just going to really make things a little bit difficult, in terms of like what's going to happen for the future, right? I feel like, unless some really positive changes are happening, I just, it's nerve-wracking, to be honest, because we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what's happening in the future. At the end of the day, Ontario is still going to do well because there's always we don't have homes for everyone, right? So there's always
Mhm.
going to be demand, but if people are not picking up investment properties, what's going to happen?
Mhm.
Sure, maybe that leads more for owner occupied, but remember, let's take things into consideration. In our area, not just GTA as a whole, but Durham region, the average price is about like 920, right? So
Mhm.
let's say if someone wants to get an 800K mortgage, you have to make an income, a household income of about 250,000 dollars. Not a lot of people are doing that. And if you're making 100K, which is a lot of money, and kudos to everyone who's doing that, I mean, the bank's only giving you 4 times that number before debt. So,
Mhm.
you're only purchasing something for 400K. What can you buy for 400K nowadays, right? So it's just a
Yeah.
very interesting time. But at the end of the day, there's still going to be people that are looking to buy and sell. So no matter what's going on like externally, your job, it might just make it a little bit harder where you're just prospecting a little bit more to find more deals. But I can tell you that if you can outlast this market and everything starts going well, all the prospects you're talking to, they're going to come back to you as long as you're following up appropriately.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
it's just like now more than ever, it's just making sure that you are connecting with people. You are asking questions, you are giving answers, you're figuring it out for people because this is kind of
Mhm.
what needs to happen right now,
Yeah.
right? Education is more important than anything right now. So it's kind of figuring that out. I'm still seeing in my market like there is a lot more, multiple offers happening. I think there was 30
Mhm.
on one of the properties with one of our colleagues here. So,
Oh
you
wow.
know, things are picking up, right? It's just don't let the external factors really cloud you from moving forward on your plans and building your business. Like no
Mhm.
matter what, there's always going to be something that is going to be rocking the boat externally, but you have to just keep your head down and just keep working.
Yeah.
Um,
There's always
it's
something in
hard,
real
but
estate. There's always something. It's just
yeah.
adjusting to whatever that something is.
Yeah, right. And I feel like also too, like, we're only human, we're only going to be motivated so much. I find that if you can find, content that motivates you through Instagram or TikTok or whatever, just before you get your day started, I mean, it's really about mindset right now. It's about
Mhm.
just being resilient, regardless how you feel, you're doing the motions and you're doing the motions properly. You're not just doing it just to do it.
Yeah.
'Cause if you are, it's not going to help you. And if you have days where you truly feel like you don't want to do anything, honestly, listen to your body and just don't do anything. But
But don't
know
do
that if
that
you're
every
going to
day. Don't do that every
exactly,
day.
right? But if you're going to take that day off, just make sure that next days you're going in, you're putting in that work,
Yeah.
right?
Got to make
So
up for
that's
it.
yeah, right. And then the days that you're doing really well, go a little bit harder. Do the extra
Mhm.
couple phone calls, do the other 20 phone calls or whatever
Mhm.
that is, because this business is all about motivation and momentum. If you're having good momentum, keep going, keep going.
Yeah. I find too it's really focusing. So a lot of these leads and kind of what you showcased on that one video is really building the relationships with them. And focus that, have that mindset that I'm just going to build 5 relationships today, or establish 5 relationships today. And it's almost like you have to, and can be in many cases, going into your leads with the anticipation that no one's buying anything anytime soon. And I'm okay with that. I'm here
Yeah.
to, have a conversation, see how I can help these people. I know they're going to move eventually. I know it's likely not in the next couple months. They are. They're there, trust me, but the average person is really in the initial stage of doing that research and just scoping out the market. A lot of people saving down payments, a lot of people sitting on the fence, right? So if we're okay with that and know that that's where most people are, we're gonna be coming across on those conversations a bit more positive. We're gonna already know the questions that they're gonna answer, the doubts that they may be having, so we're already able to address those, and adding that value. And again, it's all about relationship building with these individuals. It's not a sales center where you're calling people to get their air ducts clean and they sign you up and they're there next week, right? These are larger purchases with individuals that often it's emotional purchase, right? So we're also their counselors as well. Like Nick is frozen here. Either Nick's frozen or my stuff's frozen. One or the
It's all
other.
good. It's on my end. No, it says my network is unstable. Classic,
Oh, okay.
classic Nick. But but yeah, so like that's pretty much it. I think it's more so of just motivation, and I feel like this game is all mental. So if you can just stay mentally strong and resilient, like I was saying, and use your momentum to really help you, you're winning. That's
Yep,
it. That's really
absolutely.
it, you know. Does anyone else have any questions or, you know, any objections or anything that I can help you with? More of mindset, more of whichever you need support in to help you be more successful. You know, you guys are quiet today.
Anything? I know.
Pros.
They must be all from the West Coast because it's early still. But they're not.
Yeah, I bet.
Uh,
Just before I go, I think like I was you know, scrolling through TikTok at night, which is not a great thing, but you know, what are you gonna do? You know, there was a real estate agent that was just saying do the hardest things first that you don't want to do. Do that first things during the day. So,
yeah.
you know, everyone should be prospecting at least an hour to 3 hours a day. Get that done first thing in the morning.
If you
Whatever's
have
going to
going.
require you to do the most, whatever's going to require you to do the most energy, do that first thing in the morning as you have the most energy. You know, everyone gets so caught up, when do I call? I'm not getting answered. Honestly, like people are going to answer if they see value. And especially when they don't know a number the first time, they're going to figure out a way to answer that. But it's all depends on how you position yourself and how you script yourself. If you do not sound confident, if you're just like, hey, like, you know, and you're very soft spoken, that's not going to help you.
You have to be
You need
confident
to
with
just
what you're
like,
delivering.
hey, let me know who you are. This is who I am. Yeah, exactly. And doing all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
So that's pretty much it. You just got to be confident. If you're not scripting or have a script of how that conversation is going to go, you need to make that. Make that a priority because that's only going to help you get these calls. And also, you're spending money on getting leads. So why aren't you going to make sure that you're practicing? When we're watching, you know, people, athletes playing games, do you think they just show up to the game and they're going to just play how they're playing? No, like there's preparation involved. And, you know, that's the same way in real estate.
Yep. A
And
lot of
that's it.
training involved. Being the best.
100%.
A lot of
100%.
training.
So, yeah. But if no one's going to answer any questions, I guess we're done for the day. You
No.
know, but if you have any questions, now's the time.
Alrighty.
All right, I'm off. So if anyone
Perfect.
has any questions, just, you know, hit me up on
Yeah.
at all that you want me to elaborate on, or, you know, anything that you want to elaborate on.
Yeah, no, nothing on my end, but you guys can definitely, whether it's Nick, myself, if there are questions that, you know, sometimes we are a little bit hesitant to pop ourselves and be vulnerable in these webinars. But if there is topics like that you want to have discussed, feel free to even email myself or Nick, reach out to Nick, and we can make sure that we do address those on upcoming webinars as well.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Perfect, though. Well, thank you, Nick. Thank you, everyone, for hopping
And
on.
yeah,
We'll see y'all in a couple weeks.
and
Bye.
have a
Yeah,
great day. Yeah, have
you
a
as
great
well.
day, and let's get it.
Perfect. Sounds
Bye.
good. Thanks. Bye.